In a peaceful little village, surrounded by green fields, tall trees, and a small river flowing through it, there lived an old lady named Grandma Margaret. She was over 80 years old, but she always had a big smile on her wrinkled face. No matter what happened, she never complained. Whether it was a cold winter, a hot summer, or a difficult situation, she always found a way to stay cheerful. People in the village often wondered, how can she be happy all the time? One day, a curious young girl named Lily decided to find out. Lily was 12 years old and loved to ask questions. She often visited Grandma Margaret, who lived in a small wooden house at the end of the village. The house was simple but full of warmth. Bright flowers grew in the garden, and the smell of fresh bread always filled the air. One afternoon, Lily knocked on the old wooden door. "Come in, my dear," Grandma Margaret called out. Lily stepped inside and saw the old lady sitting on a rocking chair, knitting a warm red scarf. The room was cozy, with a small fireplace burning in the corner. "Grandma Margaret, can I ask you something?" Lily asked, sitting beside her. "Of course, dear. What is it?" Lily hesitated for a moment and then said, "How are you always happy? Even when bad things happen, you smile. How do you do it?" Grandma Margaret chuckled softly. My child, let me tell you a story." She placed her knitting on her lap, took a deep breath, and began her tale. A life of struggles and smiles. "When I was young, life was not easy," she began. "My family was very poor. My father was a farmer, and my mother was a weaver. We had just enough to survive, but there were days when we had no food. I remember one winter when we had only a small piece of bread to share. My little brother cried because he was so hungry. I wanted to cry too, but my mother told me something that I never forgot." Grandma Margaret smiled as she repeated her mother's words. "Margaret, if you cry, your stomach will still be empty. If you smile, your stomach will still be empty. So, why not smile?" Lily listened carefully as the old lady continued. "So, I learned that being sad doesn't change the problem, but being happy gives us the strength to face it. From that day on, I decided to find something good in every situation." Grandma Margaret's voice softened as she continued her story. "Years passed and I grew older. I got married to a wonderful man named Henry. He was kind and hardworking, and we built a small but happy life together. But life is never without challenges. One year, a terrible storm came to our village. The strong winds and heavy rain destroyed our little house. We lost everything: our furniture, our clothes, even our savings. I felt like crying, but Henry held my hand and said, 'We will build again, Margaret, and this time, our home will be even stronger.' So instead of complaining, we worked hard. We rebuilt our house, and this time, we made it even warmer and more beautiful. It was not easy, but I realized something important. Happiness is not about what you have. It's about how you see life." Lily thought for a moment. "But Grandma Margaret, what if something really bad happens? How can you still be happy then?" Grandma Margaret nodded. My dear, that is the hardest part." She sighed and looked at the fire burning in the fireplace. "When I was 50, I lost my dear Henry. He fell ill, and even though I took care of him every day, he did not recover. When he passed away, I felt like my world had ended. I cried for many days, and I thought I would never smile again. But then I remembered what he always told me. 'Margaret, you have two choices: be sad and lonely, or be happy and keep living.' So I decided to smile for him. I started planting flowers in my garden, helping my neighbors, and sharing my stories with children like you. And do you know what? The more I helped others, the happier I became." Lily's eyes filled with admiration. So, the secret to happiness is to always find something good, no matter what happens? Grandma Margaret nodded. Yes, my child. Life is like a river. It keeps flowing. Sometimes the water is calm and peaceful, and sometimes it is rough and difficult. But if you learn to swim, you will always enjoy the journey. Lily smiled. I think I understand now. Happiness is not about having a perfect life, but about making the best of what we have. Grandma Margaret patted Lily's hand. That's right, my dear. Every morning when I wake up, I thank the sun for shining. When I eat, I enjoy every bite. When I see children playing, I feel happy for them. There is always something to be grateful for. Lily hugged Grandma Margaret. Thank you, Grandma. From now on, I will try to be happy in every situation, just like you. A lesson for everyone. From that day on, Lily started seeing the world differently. When she faced a problem, she remembered Grandma Margaret's words. When it rained and she couldn't play outside, she smiled and read a book instead. When she lost her favorite toy, she reminded herself that she still had many other things to play with. When she struggled with schoolwork, she took a deep breath and tried again instead of getting frustrated. Over time, Lily's happiness spread to others. Her friends noticed her cheerful nature, and soon, the whole village started learning from Grandma Margaret's wisdom. Even when life was difficult, people tried to find small joys. They helped each other more, laughed more, and complained less. And just like that, the little village became the happiest place in the region. Moral of the story: happiness is a choice. No matter how hard life gets, there is always something to be grateful for. Instead of focusing on problems, focus on the good things around you. Try to be happy in every situation, and life will feel lighter and more beautiful.